All right, big question. Why are Democrats trying to keep illegal non-citizens on the voter rolls? Okay? We're also going to talk about cryptomania in the Republican Party. But joining us now, Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville. And alongside him, his senior deputies today, Jay Clayton, former SEC chair, Rodney Hood, former chair of the National Credit Union. Wow, heavy artillery. You're traveling with some of the best and the best. All right. I want to go back this. Here in New York, there's going to be a big vote. So Proposition 1 that will allow non-citizens to vote. In Alabama, I needn't tell you, the Justice Department, the Biden-Kamala Justice Department, is suing Alabama because they're taking non-citizens off the rolls. They're suing Virginia, Glenn Youngkin, for taking non-citizens off the rolls. They won't touch California, who wants to let non-citizens vote. I mean, they can talk about fascism and call Trump all anti-democratic. What the hell is this if not anti-democratic?
Well, and it goes back to the SAVE Act in the House and the Senate, Larry. Yes. We begged them, hey, let's make this fair. At the end of the day, whoever wins, wins. But let's make sure that illegals don't get to vote. And they have no plan for that. They don't want anything to do with it. They wouldn't vote for it, not one Democrat. So at the end of the day, they're coming after my state of Alabama, who we've been working on this, our Secretary of State, for months, Larry, getting people off the roll, making it fair. Everywhere I go, they don't ask about the economy or the border. They ask about, Coach, are we going to have a fair election? Is my vote going to count? That's what people are worried about.
I mean, you're right. Go back to the very beginning. This was something Kamala talked to in her interview with Bret Baier. And she said, the first thing we did, we were so worried about immigration, and it was the SAVE Act. But people didn't remember, the SAVE Act was essentially a gigantic amnesty bill. That's what it was. And they took out 94 of Trump's executive orders to close the border and keep the Remain in Mexico in place. Now we're seeing it again, 4 years later, the same idea, right? This is the SAVE Act writ large for this election. Let non-citizens vote. This is America. How is this possible?
Well, first of all, they didn't put a bill on the floor to vote against anything to do with the border. That was the biggest lie that I've ever heard. It was my first time in the Senate, and we never saw a bill. Now, one came along later, but it was a bill to codify what they had already started to do. And as you and I talked about earlier about sanctuary cities, they wanted to fund that. I was totally against that. But they don't want a fair election. They want every opportunity to do whatever they want. If they want to do something, go to California and clean that mess up out there of what they got voting.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. Gavin Newsom is specifically, explicitly pushing this, and they won't touch it.
Exactly.
It's remarkable. Jay Clayton, the Republicans are the big beneficiaries of crypto PAC money. It's an interesting turn of events over the past, 4 to 6 years. What you make of it?
Well, I think it makes sense. It makes sense because it's clear that the Republican agenda is an agenda that's going to favor the adoption of this incredibly promising technology, and not just promising, proven, Larry. We see it every day in stablecoin around the globe. This is not pie in the sky. This is something that is working and should be brought to our markets. This can make our markets, particularly our markets that are at what I would say the cash end of the spectrum, work incredibly well. Think about what stablecoin is doing around the globe. It used to take days and lots of money to send US dollars around the globe. You can do it instantaneously for nothing. The same thing is going to happen to our funding markets, Larry. It's going to happen to the Treasury market. It's going to happen to the commercial paper market.
So as a former SEC chair, you think it's safe and sound?
I think the technology can do the regulatory job better. We just, as regulators, need to work with the industry to make that happen. So not only is it going to be more efficient, it's going to do the regulatory job better.
And you can weed out the crooks, because obviously there have been some horrible stories. I don't have enough time to go through it.
We should weed out the crooks.
You'd do that anyway.
Markets work better when you weed out the crooks.
And you'd stop the Fed and the Treasury from running everything. I mean, I don't want the central bank digital currency. I'm a Hayekian, if anyone knows what that is. Friedrich Hayek, Nobel Prize winner. Let's have some competition among currencies. Free markets, as you say.
And when I say stablecoin, I don't mean a digital. I don't mean a government digital currency. I mean a bank or another creating a digital currency with competition.
You know, I don't think he always believed that. He's really come around in recent years,
Yeah.
Senator. You've had a terrific influence on Jay Clayton. You know, White Shoe Law Firm in New York, SEC chairman, very stiff collar guy. Listen to him. He sounds like a crypto cowboy.
Maybe.
Rodney, first of all, one last point. On the politics here, Ohio. Cryptos are giving a lot of money. Bernie Moreno I guess he was in the blockchain game at some point. I don't know enough about it. But Sherrod Brown, the head of the banking committee, still your Democrat colleague, is very much against the crypto story. So Ohio is going to be a big battleground for them.
Oh, yeah. Sherrod Brown's against crypto, along with Elizabeth Warren. She might be more anti-crypto, but Bernie Moreno's got a great chance. I think it's even up. Bernie's going to make a great senator. I think he's going to win this race, Larry. If this is a fair shot for a senator to win in a state that's evened up, Bernie Moreno's going to win.
Rodney, I would talk about credit unions, but it's so boring, and no one even knows what credit unions are anymore. But you have written eloquently and spoken eloquently, and you did in the Trump administration. Trump has provided black opportunities, black American opportunities, black American enterprise, and that's a very big part of this story. He's peeling off, I think, a lot of black male votes, particularly younger votes. Why is it?
It is because he has a pro-growth agenda. It was under President Trump that communities of color had access to affordable mortgages. They had access to jobs creation. Nowhere was that more abundant than with the PPP program. Credit unions that I used to oversee, over 300,000 PPP loans were originated. With President Trump, you had transparency, you had a commitment to economic development and the opportunity zones. And Larry, something that not a lot of folks know, I was the first person of color in the history of our United States to chair a banking regulatory agency. President Trump didn't do it to check a box. He checked a box with me by choosing me because I could get the job done. But more importantly, so I'm not saying that he did these things as rhetoric. I'm saying it because I lived it firsthand. I got to see the communities that were benefiting from his policies. Second Chance Initiative, $450 million invested in historically black colleges and universities, which largely creates a new black middle class. Larry, we just left an event, the three of us, just a few seconds ago before coming to see you. The server heard that we were all talking about President Trump and digital assets. She came over to me and said, "Mr. Hood, are you all Republicans? I'm an immigrant legally. I love President Trump, and I can't wait to cast my vote for him." This was 3 blocks away from where we're sitting.
Was this in a conference room or a barbershop?
Well, it was. It was
in the window of McDonald's.
It was.
McDee's just down the street.
Exactly. But there were French fries being served. But the point is, he has captured and harnessed support from communities of color. I know we talk about the African American men, but women as well.
No, I got to get out. It's a terrific story. Senator Tuberville, thank you very much. Jay Clayton, thank you very much. Rodney Hood, we appreciate it very much. Good luck on the crypto trail.